Free yourself from clutter and stressor of material things. Do you find yourself spending too much time maintaining, cleaning, and working just to get more material things? How many of you are mothers who are working all the time, busy, never finding the time? You know, it always seems like there's never enough time. As a working mom of two, living in a city and working, yes, I do still work, even though I have residual income from real estate. My plan is to create more so that I don't have to work. What I found was that there are a lot of things, material things, that takes a lot of time from what is important to me. And over the years, I have become a minimalist more and more. And I find that being a minimalist has helped me in so many different ways. Have you heard of this law called the Parkinson's law? It's where the more room, the more time you give to complete a task, the longer it will take. And the same concept can be applied when it comes to filling up your house. The more items you have, you're allowed to fill up in your house, the more it will fill up and the more it will take more space in your house. I know this is very common for people to have tons of stuff, tons of things, even when they have a smaller space or a smaller house than I do. I didn't realize it until I went to my friend's house and she showed me what's in her drawer. There were at least 50 pairs of socks, 50 pairs of underwear, and 50 bras, at least minimal. And I went to another friend's house. Her closet was full of clothes. She has another rack of clothing and it's full. It's one of those open concept rack. And underneath her bed are boxes full of clothes and full of shoes. It was just all over the place. And I didn't realize that there's a lot of people with a lot of stuff. And I used to have a lot of things as well too, and it just takes up a lot of my time, I find it. And regardless, over the years, I have skimmed down even more and I become more of a minimalist. It changes my lifestyle over the years as the more things I get rid of. I find that's actually better, giving more time and more space. It makes cleaning so much easier. I know it sounds so silly because who cleans nowadays? You can have a robot that press a button and they will do the cleaning for you, right? Because I don't have to constantly pick up after all these things and all the time, and I could spend time doing other things that I love, like spending time with my family, investing, reading, making and eating delicious healthy food, something that I like to do on my spare time. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I notice my old self and other people are trapped in this idea where we put so much of our happiness, our status, and money into material things. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it and there's nothing wrong with having nice things. But what I notice is that if it's gonna take me an extra shift or two that I have to work, where I have to pay for that brand name bag so that I can impress other people or people who don't care, and to inflate my ego, and that doesn't generate the return of investments, it's not really my cup of tea. It's something that I don't find as useful. I did when I was younger, but as I get older, I don't find it's as meaningful or as fulfilling as I once did. The reason why I don't find it's meaningful is because I don't want to trade my time for extrinsic or external validation. I rather spend time on what will give me, financial freedom and the time with my family instead. Because what I realized is that over the years, I realized that time that I spent, let's say if I were to spend 1 day or 2 days to work to get that purse, that time that was spent, I will never be able to get it back. And whereas, if I have the money, let's say I created financial freedom where it generates cash flow and passive income for me that I have extra and I can spend that on whatever I please, that is a much better way, and there can always be a different way to make the money instead of just trading my time for the dollar. So that's what I find it's important when it comes to using my time wisely and eliminating certain things, certain material things. Some of the things that I have eliminated in the past year and also in the last week, I had quite a bit of a fun time doing it, and it has saved me more time and space, and I'm very happy with it. Overall, it feels very liberating to not be so chained to the material things. I find that the less I depend on things, the more liberating I feel, and the more sense of freedom, internal, like, mental, emotional freedom that I feel inside. So here are some of the things that I got rid of over the years: CDs, DVDs, an old textbook that I haven't touched in years, like at least a good 5 years. And since I don't watch TV or movies anymore, I have sold off at least 95% of the DVDs collections and also the CD collections that I had. I remember I used to watch or listen to a lot of love, sappy, one of those heartbreak songs, when I was younger, and I thought that it would help me, feel better about it. I ended up feeling more sad listening to those sappy love song than I thought I would. I just gave up, like those items, and some of them I donated, other I sold, and it gave me so much more space. And no longer will I be spending time on watching movies. Instead I use my time to do other things that I actually enjoy. So things such as like going for a walk, reading, writing. These are some of my hobbies, or some of the things that I actually enjoy doing, and I find that it's more fulfilling. And with this whole idea is that it helps me get more comfortable enjoying my own company instead of constantly needing external entertainment. It also helped me get in touch with who I am as a person, and I feel like I understood myself, who I am, even more, instead of being the lost person that I once was before. The next thing that I also got rid of is our wine glasses and shot glasses. I drank before a while ago, a long time ago when I was younger, but it's been years since I've actually drank anything, and so I just thought, why do I still need these items anymore? It only takes up space. And the whole idea of it is that not only does it help me have better health, but it definitely saved me a lot of money, because I don't drink wine, beer, or any form of alcohol. It's ever since I had my kids, I stopped drinking altogether, and I noticed that it just makes me feel so much better about myself, and I don't have much health issues. So there's a perk to it, and not only that, it also helped me save a lot of money, because alcohol does cost quite a bit as well too. But overall, it's actually for the health reason, and I'm glad that we gave up those wine glasses and shot glasses. So the next thing that I got rid of are old pots and pans. I'm one of those people who like to make good use of things, but I realized if something is not functioning properly and it doesn't fry as well as it used to, the lid doesn't fit properly. Like for example, recently I got rid of this pressure cooker. It was leaking out of the lid or at the corner, and I ended up having to clean after it every single time, and it actually created more mess, more stress for me than it actually helped. So what I did was I got rid of that. I replaced it with an Instant Pot, and it was so much easier in a sense that everything is so automated, so easy, where you just put the food in, put the water, press the button, close it. It just let me know when it's ready, instead of I have to watch the stove and pay attention and clean up the mess that the leaking from the old pot created. So it saved me a lot of time. The whole idea of this is to reduce what caused more stressor, what added more pain, to reduce those items or those things, and to add of what is useful, or add what is efficient, what makes my life easier, right? And if having an Instant Pot and paying for a little bit of it, it just saves me time, energy, save me from cleaning the mess that the old pot makes. That itself is an added value to me, and that's why I'm saying, you know, I eliminate a lot of stuff, but it's just, there are certain things that it helps. So that if it helps to increase your time, increase your health, increase your wealth, increase your make your relationship better, or you're having more joy to your life, then it's definitely something I'm pro for. You know, it's something that I would find that it's of value. Why I tell you this story is because there's this idea of we have so much tendency to hold on to the things that no longer serve us anymore, or actually causing more stressor that can zap away, you know, like our energy and reduces, you know, our ability to cope, right? Just how, like, you know, the pot, the old pressure cooker, it was unsafe since I have small kids, and not only that, it was leaking, and I'm all for pretty much what can help bring more good energy into my life. Other things that I got rid of are, you know, old shoes that I'll never wear again. Those high heel shoes, or like the pairs of shoes that are discolored, that are painful to walk in. And, you know, like I got rid of the shoes that I wore on my wedding day, which is like 12 years ago when I was married, and I haven't used it for like years, so I just end up throwing it away. Other things that I eliminated are also wires, extra wires, doorknobs that are not keyable or rekeyable, because I have some properties, and I find that I used to buy doorknobs that are not rekeyable because I didn't know, and instead of having that, like each time I would have changed the doorknob and door lock, right? Whereas I built a better system, I realized, oh, why am I wasting so much time? Instead, I end up getting like these Wiser brand where they're rekeyable. So I changed all the locks to that brand, and each time when a tenant moves out, instead of having to change the lock, which takes up so much more time, I just take like 1 minute, not even less than a minute, and you change it to a new set of keys. I mean, there are other better system where they use number pads, but I'm not there. I think so far the current system works for me, and I find that's useful. So for those who are either landlords or in property management, and in terms of what you may find useful is like, it's better to create a system, and instead of using those locks where you have to change the lock, use a rekeyable system or a pin pad, something that makes it easier each time, so that it saves you time, money, effort. It saves the environment as well too. So like, instead of wasting all that, it definitely makes it a better option. So the whole idea of this is to eliminate, like I mentioned, pretty much eliminate what causes inefficiency, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but I have heard about the Kaizen model, where in order to make your life better, you make changes that create better results. So instead of doing what was inefficient, such as, like for me, I used to have the door lock that needs to be replaced every single time. I changed it to a rekeyable system. So that's much better. So overall, saving the environment, saving the money from my wallet, and also giving me more time and energy. Nobody wants to do extra work when it's not necessary, not needed. If there's another way, there's got to be a better way, right? So that's the whole idea to it. Other things that I eliminated are clothing. Some of the clothing that I haven't worn in 2 years or more, overstretched socks, one sock's missing, or any pair of items where one part is missing, clothing that are too tight, that doesn't fit, that reveal way too much for me, and I'm past that stage. And not only that, the fact that my hip has expanded ever since I gave birth to my kids. It's something that I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to, and it's just the reality of things. And I actually learned to embrace it. So instead of trying to fit in or squeeze into the previous clothes that, you know, doesn't fit properly, makes me feel uncomfortable, are old, ripped, certain things that I don't wear, I throw it away. You know, there's like a donation charity box that you can bring to. I think they have that everywhere. And at my hospital, they have there's have a locker where they, you know, some of the patients that come in, they're homeless, they don't have clothes, some of them had a little too much to drink, and they end up, you know, coming into the hospital with no clothes. So I end up leaving it there. And not only that, not just my clothes, but my husband's clothes as well too. Some of the clothes that he finds doesn't fit him anymore. I find this, the whole idea to this is that I find that as a woman, it takes me so much longer to get ready compared to my husband. And sometimes deciding on an outfit, on what to wear, takes longer than it should, right? And I find that it takes up a lot of time. And by getting rid of the options, or like the items I don't wear, the items that don't fit, the items that I have to ponder and wonder whether I should wear it or not, the item that I don't wear at all, it makes it so much easier and faster because I limit my option to the ones that I actually use and actually easy to fit with the other items, right? Like the shirt fits nicely with the other pants and they're universal, they're functional, whereas you know, the other ones are like, I try it on, it doesn't fit, then I end up not wearing it. It just saves me time. So that's one of the things that I eliminated. Clothing that doesn't fit, that I don't wear. Another thing that I eliminated are paper documents, old notes or cards. And I know like some people might think like, oh, you're not sentimental. I'm not really as sentimental compared to my husband. But what I found was that one thing that's useful is whatever I find that is meaningful, I take pictures of it so that I always have it. I have it in my phone, and I think I can look at it, I remember it more. Whereas if it's like left in a box, I know I will never look at it. And there's a lot of, if you haven't noticed, over the past 5 years, there are a lot of companies that have gone paperless or, you know, digital format. So imagine looking for a document, like, you know, going to a doctor's office. I remember going to a doctor's office. There are tons of these file folders everywhere, right? And it takes so long for the secretary to go through and look for that file folder of that patient. Whereas when you have things that are systematized and that's in the system, and all you need to do is just type up their name or their health card, and voila, their file comes up right away, right? Think about how efficient that is. You know, not only does it save time, save the environment, it cuts the, like, it makes it so much easier. It's a better system, and productivity increases because, you know, no longer do the patient have to wait how long just for that file folder. It becomes easy accessible for the doctor, right? So I think that's one thing that I found useful. It saves me a lot of time and also space, because I have my things on computer instead in digital format instead of paper format, which gets scattered, and it takes me forever to find that sheet that I need to look back to anyways. Another item that I got rid of as well too are outdated, broken, non-functional furniture. Actually just extra furniture in general, because what I noticed that the more furniture I have, the more things I have to decorate it, to make it look nicer. Like I remember buying all those cushions, those nice decorative cushion for my couch that I hardly ever use, just to leave it there and take up space just in case for every now and then some guests might come. But I already have a sofa in my living room. So we eliminated one of the sofa and the cushion as well too, because every single time we have to sit on it, I have to get rid of the cushion and then put it back on, just taking up way much more time than it's actually helping. So now I pretty much like got rid of it, and it just makes my house looks more spacious, airy, it's easier to clean, just a lot of time saving with that. Another thing that I got rid of was my plants. I have way too many plants, and what I notice is that I end up spending a lot of time pruning, watering, repotting, and then I wonder, no wonder I don't have that time to spend with my kids, because I'm spending all that time taking care of the plants. Right? Or doing other things, or like sleeping, or like exercising and all that stuff. So I eliminated some of the plants. Okay, I donated to my neighbor, and he enjoyed it. That freed up a lot of more time. Even though I'm a plant lover, but noticeably less. I've cut down a lot of things. Overall, here's what I find that's more important, and I find that what works for me, it's not so much of getting rid of the material things, it's just about more being selective about what I bring into my life. So some things like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Pretty much like there's a philosophy to it, and it's about getting rid of things that doesn't bring joy to your life, and only bringing in what does, right? What it is really like eliminating the items that cause stress, or that takes up time, that like require me to work extra hard, but really doesn't add so much value to my life. I mean, you can get things, but getting what add more time, add more joy, brings more health, bring more wealth, and bring better relationship to your life, like that, right? Because most of the time I find that because of the attachment of things, it doesn't allow me as much freedom as I wanted, because we have this need of material things, being attached to the material things to make me happy. I focus on just being joyful, like enjoying the moment, living the moment, and on the simple things. There's so many things, there's so many like experiences that are joyful, rather than just accumulating things and taking up space, and you end up having to work, or I end up having to work extra hard for it. Whereas the experience, I remember, I enjoy, I don't remember the things as much as I remember the experience, the fun experience I had, the good time that I had, right? And I think that's what is more joyful. What doesn't add joy, time, health, wealth to my life is to pretty much like, it's good for eliminating. And there are so many riches that is found in experience, rather than just the material things. So I hope you guys find this video useful, and it's something that works for me, and I hope that it helps you, so that it allows you to have more time, more freedom, like more money, so that you can spend on the experience, on what matters to you. And if you like it, click the like, subscribe, and share your comment on what you have eliminated that has helped you and that made your life better, that freed up more time for you.